quick reminder to please silence your cell phone before the press conference begins. For those joining us remotely through Zoom, please use the raise hand function if you'd like to ask a question. We will take all in-person questions first, then we'll move remote to Zoom. Please wait for the mic holder to reach you before asking your question. Please state your name and affiliation before asking your question, and designate which student athlete you would like to answer your question. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
How's it going?
All right, from the University of Georgia, we are now joined by senior Q Morrison and sophomore Sarah Ashley Barker. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. Brandon in the front.
So I'll start off with a Q here. So can you tell me what it was like to see Jillian perform how she did last night? I know a couple of weeks ago we were talking about how you guys were excited to have her back, and for her just to do that, take me into what that was like last night to see that.
It just brings a lot of excitement to the team. Jillian stayed true to the process. She stayed dialed in to her injury and just knowing what it took to be back on that floor. And when she got out there, it was great to have her out there, and just to see her perform like that just makes it more amazing.
And then for Sarah Ashley, so I think earlier in the year, the two of us kind of talked about the staff and kind of how you guys as players go out to play for them every game. How much do you feel like the kind of the familiarity and the continuity that you guys have with this staff and kind of how you guys operate from day to day, how does that help you guys at a time like this where you guys are trying to advance to programs first Sweet 16 in almost 10 years?
I mean, I think it means like everything just to the players, to the staff in itself. To be able to have a head coach who cares about you so much on and off the court, it truly brings your team together. When she steps into the court, she's your coach, but when she steps off, you can go into her office and talk to her about anything. And that's with every single coach on this team. That's with this program. That's what they built here. And I think having that foundation makes it so easy when things are not going right. You just say, look, we're gonna stay together, and that's what's gonna get us through. We had a really hard stretch in February, and then we came out last night and we played our butts off. It's a new season, and we're just looking forward to tomorrow, and we got to get that done before we can think about anything else. So.
And then, Q, I mean, obviously tomorrow night's a huge game. Iowa State's a really good team, and I mean, the atmosphere last night was amazing. So it's like we're playing on the road. How much does that excite you to be able to guard Ashley Jones is one of the top guards in the country and have that challenge against Iowa State?
You know, any opponent, we're going to come out there and play our defense and play my defense. We stay dialed in practice. SA will be starting off on her, but we're going to be in it together as a team. And so we got a game set plan for her and for the rest of the others. So she's a really good player, and we're just going to do what needs to be done.
If you have a question for the student athletes, please raise your hand. Yep.
Tom Purcell, Des Moines Capital. Sarah, you got to watch the Iowa State game.
I did, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So at the end of the game, when you're walking out with your teammates, what observations of what you saw did you share?
I mean, I think they're just a team that plays really hard and they play together. They've got 3 really good players that can just score all over. If anyone gets hot, they get hot. But you also saw that last night that they were not hitting shots in the first half, but they didn't back down. And I think that's something that you got to go into as a team is you got to realize if you knock them in the face, they're going to knock you right back. And so that's what we got to prepare for and just keep going at it. But like I said, they're a really good team, and it's going to be fun to play against them.
Q, when Jillian's out there, how does that make your team different than if she wasn't?
I wouldn't say it makes the team difference. I feel like each post player come out there with the same capability to just do what needs to be done within the plays. We run plays for specific players, and so when she is out there, we're trying to put her in the right space to make the right play for her, and that's what we do with any post player that comes out there, whether that's Shavin, Jordan, Mallory.
What makes her a special player? I mean, she didn't have that many minutes, and look what she did. What are the talents she possesses to do that?
Just listening. Jill's a really good listener. She doesn't talk back, and so when it comes to listening, she dials into that, and she goes out there and does what she is told. And even if she makes a mistake, we're still on her, and she takes it all in without coming back with any attitude. So that's what most definitely makes her great.
And the last thing I have for Sarah Ashley, I mean, also on Jillian, I mean, with these last few weeks with her being in practice, I mean, take the basketball player out of it. Can you think of an interaction or a conversation that you had that just kind of made you guys feel good as a team to have her back and have her look like available to work with you guys?
I mean, absolutely. I think all year we wanted her back in full strength, but we knew that she had some injuries that were holding her back. But I think that the whole year, all of us were just like, when we get Jillian back, like it's gonna help. Not saying that missing Jillian, affects our team, but having her makes us more deep in the post. But it also makes it to where if someone's playing good, they're gonna stay in the game. And we have so many people that we can just get in and out, and we have a huge bench. I mean, last night we had 29 bench points. That's unbelievable. That's like really, really good. And so we're deep, and that makes us good because, say I'm not playing well, Reagan comes in, she plays well, she's got it. Like that's just, we trust each other, and we want each other to do well. So yeah.
Any more in-person questions for the student athletes? Okay, we'll move to remote, and we'll start with McLean Baxley.
Question for Q. In the past few weeks, y'all talked about how there's an expectation in Georgia to compete for championships and go into the tournaments and compete. Is there any added sense of pressure with this year's team? With you and Jenna kind of coming back with a lot of experience, and you showed last night that y'all are capable of having a 4-quarter game. Is there any sort of added pressure for you or for this team to win tomorrow night?
No, sir. There's no added pressure. This is a great group of girls. We have a great team, and each night we come out there to perform. And last night we were able to do that, and moving on to tomorrow, we're going to come out there with that same effort and energy.
Do we have any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you so much for your time, and good luck.
Thank you,
you.
guys.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. As a reminder, please ensure that your cell phone is on silent before we begin the press conference. For those joining us remotely through Zoom, please use the raise hand function if you would like to ask a question. We will take all in-person questions first, and then we will move to remote. Before you ask your question, please be sure to state your name and affiliation.
How are you today?
Coach, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Do you live here? Do you get to go home at all?
You know, I don't live in the building. No, it feels like it. All right, we're now joined by head coach Joni Taylor from the University of Georgia. Coach Taylor, if you'd like to start with an opening statement, we'll then take questions.
Obviously spent last night and this morning preparing for Iowa State. Really, really good team. You know, another three-headed monster with their guards. When you look at Ashley Jones and what she can do as an All-American, then you've got Lexi, who's really, really good, and then Emily Ryan. And so we've got to be really, really good about taking away the three, but also dribble penetration. I think they do a really good job of getting downhill to get to the rim, get to the free throw line, and to find shooters. So we're going to be stretched on all ends. They've got great pieces around the three of them. So it's going to be a fun game, but a challenging game for us as well.
Thanks, Coach. We'll now take questions.
Hey, Coach, I mean, can you just kind of take me through the timetable of the last, 16 hours or so? I saw you guys at the game last night, but how have you guys gone about preparing? Because as you said, Iowa State's a really good team.
All right. So obviously, the girls went back last night. They went back 8, watched the game, and we went to sleep. And so we had breakfast this morning at 9:30, and then watched film at 10. Prepped for Iowa State with our film work, with our scouting, and then just had a 2-hour practice and walked through some stuff offensively and defensively. And that's what it is. It's a quick turnaround. It's where you lean on your maturity. You lean on the mental side of the game, you know, being locked in and trusting just who we are with our principles defensively and offensively.
And then in the SEC, you guys obviously go up against some of the best players in the country, Ryan Howard, Aaliyah Boston, you name it. But Iowa State has another one, Ashley Jones. I mean, how difficult is it to handle her along with the pieces around her, as you said?
Well, she's somebody who can just take over a game, right, and score in a multitude of ways. She truly is a three-level scorer. She shoots the three. She can create her own shot. She can get by you, put it on the floor. She's got moves, and she's versatile around the paint. She rebounds the basketball, plays extremely tough. She's just a seasoned player and somebody who's just relentless in how she pursues things and wants to be a leader for their team. So we're going to have to just – it won't be one person guarding her. You know, that's going to be a team job, a team assignment. And understand she's going to make tough shots. It's where we've got to be really disciplined with everyone else as well and make sure that we're not giving up things that they want. We've got to make their shots tough.
And the last thing I had, so I guess I would say an advantage that y'all do have is obviously the depth and the options, because last night 70 of 78 Iowa State points came from Jones, Donarski, and Ryan. I mean, how can you guys use that to your advantage? I mean, having 29 points off the bench last night.
Well, it's been our secret sauce all year long, and so it's where everybody has to be ready to go when their number's called. It's where we have to be locked in to know what it is we're looking for offensively and get to that. And then we've got to go pursue the basketball when it goes up. We've got to rebound the ball, give ourselves second chance opportunities. And I think that's what makes us dangerous is that, yes, we know it could be a few people, but it could also be somebody else. And so, again, it's taking rhythm shots, taking the shot that we know we're gonna take when it's our turn. And then the biggest thing, again, is just going to rebound it.
Tim Crichel, Des Moines Capital. Coach, Coach Fenley talked highly of you when he was in here, said you had served on some committees. He spoke of your elegance. Were you, what do you know of Bill Fenley? And but if you hadn't come up here to play here now, but someone had asked you in Georgia, well, what is the Iowa State program? How would you respond? What's their brand?
I think, number one, I know Coach Finley really well. He's someone who I've watched and admired for a really long time. When I was an assistant at Georgia in 2013, we played Iowa State in Spokane, so very familiar with them and have always watched their program from afar. When I think about Coach Finley, I think about him being a steward of our game, right? He's one of the guardians of our game. He serves on the same committees I do and is really one of the leaders in that respect in terms of growing the game and making sure that we're equitable and we're just pushing the needle in all types of ways. When I think about their program, I think about history, I think about tradition. I think about players who shoot the three really well, but also who defend really, really well. I think about atmosphere. I think about environment, the crowd. Like it's what you want when you look at women's basketball. You want people in the stands who are excited, who embrace our old women's program, and just how they've built it and grown it here is something that's really, really we look up to and we admire.
Okay, and conversely, when someone is asked, what is Georgia women's basketball? What do you hope they say?
Hope they say it's a tradition-rich program that when you watch them play, they play hard, they play for each other, they play with their heart, and that there are women there who are carrying on the legacy that was created by the people who came before them.
Dave Sproul, KASI Radio. Bill also mentioned that you've spoken very eloquently about the future of basketball and what you want to look for. Can you kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what you envision for the future of the game?
Well, I hope it continues to grow. I think we're in the right direction. I think there's been a lot of things that have happened when you look at just the things that we've been able to do this year. The NCAA has really stepped up in terms of branding. We've got March Madness. We had 68 teams. I think last year's disparities in the bubble really pointed out how there's still room for us to grow. Right, and with this being the 50th anniversary of Title IX, we'd be remiss to continue not to push the needle. So I think for us, we want to continue to have our games televised. It's really been fun to go back to the hotel room and watch every game on TV. That has not always happened, and so there is growth, but we're not done. So for us, I think the path to parity has to come on the business side of things. Making sure that our game has the same market value as the men. Making sure that there's revenue distribution. There's still places that we can stretch and grow and ask people to make it more equitable for our game.
Hey, Coach, kind of a bigger picture thing here, but I was thinking about the last year or so that your family's been on with 2 NCAA tournament appearances. Darius getting to be a head coach, an assistant GM in Atlanta, and all the success that your program has had. I mean, can you put the value of this latest chapter of y'all's journey into words? I mean, 2 kids, all that. I mean, can you put it into words?
It's blessed, is what I would say. Grateful, humble. Darius and I have the same dream and passion for what we want to do professionally and personally, and that's affect the lives of young people, right, and continue to help them in any way we can. And it's great to have a partner, to have a family and a support system who understands that and who does nothing but help you achieve the goals that you want, not for yourself, but for the program that we're playing for and for the young women who walk through those doors. And so it's been a blessing that has happened, but more importantly, the impact that our young ladies have on our 2 daughters, right? And I think also the impact that our 2 daughters have on our team, right? It's been fun to watch just the dynamic both ways. And so it's something that you don't take for granted. And basketball is something that we're all here that binds us together, but I think it also allows you to put things in perspective when you see 2 young children running around and when they see the late hours that you're putting in because you're trying to do something special. So I think it's just perspective for everybody. And hopefully it allows them, not only my 2 daughters, but our players, it allows them to see that you can have what you want, right? And that's what it's about. It's about having choices. And as long as they understand they have choices and if they work hard, then the sky is the limit for what they want to accomplish, that's what we want to do.
Do we have any more in-person questions for Coach Taylor? Okay, we'll now move to remote. If you have a question, please use the raise hand function. Coach, I think that's all we have for you. Thanks for joining us and good luck.
Thank you.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. Oh.